All right.
You can do either.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I want to say I thought it was a really well-designed lesson. And when you had sent me the lesson plan, I had I thought same reaction. I've been thinking about it and have a few more questions, but I think what we'll do is go through kind of step by step what happened.
Okay.
And then embed some of the questions in that, and then we'll go to this.
Okay.
So the 10 o'clock time started with the bathroom and the wash hands and the snack and the video with the whole body listener review. And then the students gathered on the rug and the teacher gave the instruction to put the crayons on the desk, which I thought was a very smart thing to do, to have it ready for the next. And the Halloween stomp. And then the numbers on the floor certainly help get them so they're not bumping into each other. So that was a very good thing to do. You introduced the letter I, and the students shared objects of the letter I, which I thought that was really neat because it's a good way to get parents involved too. So that was very good.
Thank you.
One student was asked to take a time out. My only question in that was, would it have been good or possible that she faced the group so that she didn't miss out on instruction? Now, that sounds good in theory.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have worked or not to have them know that you're supposed to still watch.
Yes.
Minor, but just curious. We are the dinosaur videos, and was the purpose to allow activity before the learning opportunity?
Yes.
And you did that
brain
several
break.
times.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That was very good. You showed photos of the students and then set the timer for 10 minutes to get them transitioned. Teacher introduced things that are big and little, and they went from A, B, C, D centers. The teacher worked individually with students to address their understandings of big, bigger, and biggest. Is this something that is worth documenting? I don't know whether or not. I know you were assessing.
Yes.
Is it worth documentation at that point or not? So, and maybe that was just a preliminary too. So it might not be. When students make mistakes, can you ask them their rationale for their initial choice?
Okay.
Because I think that'll get deeper into their cognitive processing.
Right.
Great activity to ask them to correlate the dinosaur, with that. I thought that was really excellent.
Thank you.
Students moved to a new center, and the hamburger was interesting. The little boy that we said, which one for you, which one for daddy, which for mom. That might have been another place to do the cognitive processing, because he absolutely knew what he wanted to do, and the rationale why, I think, would sometimes in special education situations, we don't ask them what they're thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that would be the only thing I'd say there.
Perfect.
Let's see. Would it have helped if the cards with the word big, bigger, and biggest, like you had the cards, were set up there so that they focused on that language piece?
That's a good point. Yes.
Let's see. Because there were other correct answers too.
And I'm like, medium, large?
I
No,
know,
that's not what I was looking for, but yeah.
Yeah, and later then, I think you were trying to accommodate some of the other things too, so you were using different words. And I'm like, okay,
the vocabulary,
that's a learning opportunity.
Yes, exactly, yes.
Then at 11 o'clock, you changed activity. One student had a reaction, and I thought you handled that beautifully. You offered him an alternative distraction that actually worked. And the one that had the difficulty a little later completed the assignment and was rewarded with one of those stickers, which he was after to begin with.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now. I had to think. Yes, okay.
That was extremely well done. It only
you.
took a few seconds for him to go from to I have a task to do, and then I'll be rewarded.
Perfect.
So that was great.
Thank you.
And I just said, make sure you're consistently using big, bigger, and biggest.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, again, I think we talked about this last time. How close to the regular K curriculum is the written curriculum for you? Do you have a written curriculum? Does it correlate?
We do. We actually, this year, we're given, it's called the Frog Street curriculum.
Okay.
And we do meet with the kindergarten team on the Wednesdays. let me see if I can. So I know that it's kind of laying the foundation when we get there to them, but I wouldn't say that it goes hand in hand exactly. It's just
Right.
kind of laying the groundwork.
Yeah, so that when they exit your program, they will be ready. What is their next step? Do they go right to
Yes,
to K?
all of my classroom does.
Okay.
The classroom over has about 3 or 4 that are, we call them K risers.
Okay.
So in the fall they will move there, and some of the little ones in the room have actually been in the pre-K classroom for 2 years.
Okay.
The one little boy that I referred to quite a bit because he was busy, he's actually been me. This is his 3rd year, so he's
Okay.
very, very comfortable and
Okay,
very,
sure.
very, ready to help, but also kind of playful and needs guidance. But they will all move into kindergarten.
Okay, and
for
so
the
you've
fall.
seen progress, especially the ones that have been with you.
Or I've seen where,
longer.
oh my gosh, I need to do a little more.
Yes, right. Okay,
Yeah.
it's kind of a looping.
Yes. Go back and refresh.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so just on the lesson plan, after I looked at it, again, I think it was really well done. I looked at the mathematic part of this, and I'm wondering, I can't remember what, other things might have been there, but why is the lesson on big, bigger, and biggest important?
Okay.
Just from your perspective of teaching.
So the actual concept, so they can compare and contrast. So they'll get the concept that, things may be little and big, but there's the comparison in between. So I think that's important that they understand that.
Right. And the whole math idea, basic cognitive processing in math, says that the degrees of greatness are really important to transfer to mathematical thinking. So I don't know if there's another one in the math that
Maybe
says
a standard that might.
because at first I read the lesson, I thought, oh, that's good, it's a literacy lesson, and then I thought, wait a minute, it's also the math lesson for greater than, less than. Let's see, and then that does help them also compare, sort, and classify, which is part of that too. How are now you have ESL students too. How are they progressing?
It's interesting because again, 3 of them, the one was out today, but 3 of them have been with me for at least 2 years, 1 3 years. And this year was the first time that I've done the Google app. And it really was a necessity because my the custodian that comes in, we were miming together. And so I'm like, I need something. And he showed me on his phone. So I have actually relied on that to help them tell me what they're saying. Because I don't know if it's because of the language difference or if really they're just not grasping.
Absolutely. That is a very hard thing.
Yes, it is. So
do they get outside help support
not
too?
outside. A speech therapist will come in with their IEP goals, and she works with them.
Okay.
But I think it's in English. I don't know that they get to the Spanish part.
Yeah.
But the parents are amazing. They want to do whatever we need to do.
Yes.
I'll send stuff home. They work it. Yeah. So I do see some progression. But unfortunately, Spanish is not a language I know. I wish because I think I could gauge it. I know if I could learn one, they could teach me.
So is there leveling that you get when you get information about your students? Do they say they are a level 1 or level 2? I'm not sure how it's done here.
No, once they arrive to me, we do the assessment. The initial assessment is like a Battelle developmental assessment, and they just kind of basically say this is where they are cognitively, and this is their. What I do when they come in is do a baseline. Just what do you recognize, and I'll show them the flashcards, and if they can show me, one of the uppercase 26 letters, and then maybe 2 of the lower, then that's kind of my baseline, and I do that every month with them. So that I can see what is it progress or regress.
You're
definitely.
having to set up your own assessment system. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So at the district level, is there a department for ELL or?
There is a pre-K team, and I'm thinking there's an ELL. Now, there's a new kindergarten teacher that is amazing. She used to be a reading resource person many years ago, and she introduced at our meeting yesterday this program. And they were going to get it just for the kindergarten team, and they saw me and the other kindergarten a pre-K teacher and said, "Why don't you guys do the trial one, and then we'll see if we can buy it for the school." And you assess the children, and it's all right there.
Yeah. That will be a big help for
That would
you
be a
also.
blessing.
Yeah. So
Yes,
it's
a
moving
gift. Yeah.
forward at the snail's
Like a
pace, like
turtle.
everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How did you come across your idea for the centers? Because that's a saving grace as well as very effective in terms of learning.
Okay, so I don't know if you remembered when you came last time. We only had A, B, and C.
Yeah, I did,
Okay.
because I almost forgot D here today.
Okay, so what we did, and Rita and I so collaborate, thank God for her, but the whole center idea came out of necessity when I had more students than I
Sure.
should have had in the room.
Sure.
And at one point last year, I had two centers, and it was like 10 and 10. No, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So let's break it down even more. Well, as we were doing the group, and we now have 11 instead of the 10 in the class, I said, I don't know that I like having 4 in a small group, because typically I'm at that table
Right.
working with them on
Yeah.
a lesson or
Sure.
watching them cut scissors or whatever. And she's like, why don't we do where it's 3 in each group?
Yes,
That's so manageable.
Yeah,
and
it
you
is.
can, I mean, it's like a hot mess though after, because then you're cleaning up
Yeah.
every center.
Yeah.
But it's like right now they're actually broken down by 2s.
Okay.
So it was just out of necessity.
Sure.
And I had observed some other preschools in the and I'm like, what are they using? How are they doing it? And I just modified
Yeah.
it to make it work
That's
for us in the space we have.
Yeah, that's great. I think that
Oh.
was, for many reasons, a brilliant idea.
I can't take full credit, but we do, maybe you'll be up to
That's
F
funny.
when you come back.
Yes, yeah, there we go.
No.
Independent learning today, people. Oh, my
Put one of the
gosh.
kiddos in charge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, what else did I? This is sort of a reiteration.
Okay,
Doesn't
okay.
have to. I'll have you sign
Let's
that
see.
right
Yeah, do
now.
you want me
so
to
I
put
don't
something in here?
forget.
Something I was uncomfortable.
Sure.
I'm just going to say truly, it's staying on task. I mean, with
Yeah.
the keeping students on task. We're tired when we go home.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you always listening and
Oh, my goodness. Well,
share, because I think
you're amazing.
and I know I'm like I know I need to make sure I'm doing what needs to be done for the students.
right.
You know.
And you are. But
Thank you.
It's at a very exhausting pace also, isn't it? So that would be, I think, the only thing. What did I write down? Areas of focus. Well,
Yes.
first of all, strengths. There were many, many. Began right away.
Okay.
Good use of time. Time management. You use the clock. Everything is managed very well.
Thank you.
Your lesson plans are excellent.
Okay.
You allowed for physical movement as a pre-learning activity, going back to the brain-based understandings. Variety of management techniques were used throughout. Great to include the parents. You built in assessment along the way. Now think maybe a little bit about documentation and what is important enough to
Okay.
document. Great use of translation support. And then the aid teacher rapport, excuse me,
Yes.
is fabulous. That is one of the best I've ever seen, because she anticipates what you need. And it looks like she helps to structure the actual, how is this going to work in this,
Yes.
where do the kids need to be, those kinds of
Yes,
things. So I thought
she's
that
a
was
gift.
absolutely amazing. The only thing, let's talk a little bit about this.
Okay.
Continued work on management strategies, and I thought, am I going to write that down? Am I not going to write that
Yeah.
down? Because you have so many, but I don't know how much of that is based on individual student diagnosis and
Yes.
need.
Mhm.
Because what might work in general might not
Yes.
work for some. I mean, I think you do an amazing job. That would be the only thing, is just to put yourself, and it sounds like you've been out watching other people. What are they doing? Are they doing anything else that becomes routinized
Okay.
here?
Okay.
So, I've seen it where, and this may not be effective, but there's the little bell. And rather than, because you are spending some time, you have eyes in the back of your head, which is wonderful, you need it.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But, kind of trying to correct behaviors along the way.
Yes.
That probably won't go away.
Right.
But are there ways that will be easier for you and get them so that they were responding to stimulus? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, we can think
Yes,
about that.
Thank you.
Concentrate on asking questions that allow students to explain their thinking. I think that's the biggest
Yes.
thing. Other than that, I think you're fabulous. I think
Thank
that
you.
This school is very, very lucky to
Well, thank
have you, and if I can help you in any way, I know this is the end of the formal, but
Yes.
you have my number.
I do have you. Yeah, and you give good advice, good thoughts. So now, if you don't mind, I'll have Rita
Copy
make
that.
us copies.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's just of this one, right? Or do I need that one as
If you-
well?
Only if you want it.
Okay,
You can
well, I'll
have
have her
it.
go copy these
That's
two.
perfect.
And then, okay, perfect.